Good morning everyone. Basa ng Bible guys. Numbers 15 and 16 and Mark 6, 1 to 29. Additional regulations, supplementary offerings, chapter 15 guys. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, after you enter the land I am giving you as a home, and you present to the Lord offering made by fire from the herd or the flock, as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, whether burnt offerings are sacrificed for special vows, or free-will offerings or festival offerings. Then the one who brings his offering shall present to the Lord a grain offering of a tenth of an ephah of fine flour mixed with a quarter of a hin of oil, with each lamb for the burnt offering or the sacrifice. Prepare a quarter of a hin of wine as a drink offering. With the ram, prepare a grain offering or 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with a third of a hin of oil. A hin of oil and a third of a hin of wine as a drink offering. Offer it as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. When you prepare a young bull as a burnt offering or sacrifice for a special vow or a fellowship offering to the Lord, bring with the bull or a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with half a hin of oil. Also bring half a hin of wine as a drink offering. It will be offering made by fire, an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Its bull or ram, its lamb, a young goat is to be prepared in this manner. Do this for its one for as many as you prepare. Kita may pang-offering kayo tapos reklamo kayo ng reklamo na wala na kayo makain na meat. Ayan, ano kaya yan? Napakalalaki nito. Pagka ni-slaughter nila. Diba nagreklamo sila na puro mana lang yung kinakain nila. Wala na raw bang meat. Itong offering nila guys, ang lalaking yan. Everyone who is native born must do these things in this way when he brings an offering made by fire as an aroma pleasing to the Lord for the generations to come. Whenever an alien, diba doon sa una natin pagbasa, nagreklamo sila. Anong araw ba yun? Binasa natin. For the generations to come, whenever an alien or anyone else living among you presents an offering made by fire as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, he must do exactly as you do. The community is to have the same rules for you and for the alien living among you. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. You and the alien shall be the same before the Lord. The same laws and regulations will apply both to you and to the alien living among you. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you enter the land of which I am taking you, and you eat the food of the land, present a portion as an offering to the Lord. Present a cake from the first of your ground meal." Ay, nung araw may cake na pala. From the first of your ground meal, and present it as an offering from the threshing floor. Throughout the generations to come, you are to give this offering to the Lord from the first of your ground meal. Offerings for intentional sins. Now, if you intentionally fail to keep any of these commands the Lord gave Moses, any of the Lord's commands to you through him from the day the Lord gave them, and continuing through the generations to come. And if this done unintentionally without the community being aware of it, then the whole community is to offer young bull for a burnt offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord, along with the prescribed grain offering and drink offering and milk goat for a sin offering. The priest is to make atonement for the whole of Israelite community, and they will be forgiven, for it was not intentional, and they have brought to the Lord for the wrong and offering meat. Huwag niyo na intindihin yung chant ko. At talagang nakulo-kulo yan. Pagkainom ka ng inom ng tubig. Made by fire and sin offering. Kailangan natin ng tubig guys Panlinis yan, pagkagising nyo palang inom na kayo. Sa akin lang. Ewan ko sa inyo. Dahon. Pero talaga maganda ang tubig sa katawan, guys. The whole Israelite community and the aliens living among them will be forgiven because all the people were involved in the unintentional wrong. But if just one person sins unintentionally, he must bring a year-old female goat for a sin offering. The priest is to make atonement before the Lord for the one who erred by sinning unintentionally, and when atonement has been made for him, he will be forgiven. One and the same law applies to everyone who sins unintentionally, whether he is a native-born Israelite or an alien. So kahit dayo ka, iisa ang batas. But anyone who sins defiantly, whether native-born or alien, blasphemes the Lord, and that person must be cut off from his people, because he has despised the Lord's word and broken his commands. That person must surely be cut off. His guilt remains on him. The Sabbath breaker put to death. Aray ko, ano ba yan? Bakit put to death yung guys, yung susuway sa Sabbath breaker. While the Israelites were in the desert, a man was found gathering wood. Nangunguha lang ng kahoy to. On the Sabbath day, those who found him gathering wood brought him to Moses and Aaron and the whole assembly, and they kept him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, "The man must die, the whole assembly must stone him outside the camp." So the assembly took him outside the camp and stoned him to death, as the Lord commanded Moses. Grabe naman, Father God. Huwag naman yan. Hindi na to applicable sa generation natin, guys. Grabe naman. Babatuin ka hanggang sa mamatay ka. Yung mga nagtatrabaho ng ng ikapitong araw, Sabbath day. Diba? Ay. Ang bigat ng parusa, guys. Tayo nagtatrabaho. Nag-uoti pa naman tayo pagka Sabbath day. So kung sa panahon tayo ni Moses, matagal na tayong pinatay. Diba? Tassels on garments. Sana hindi na to applicable sa amin, Father God. Lalo na sa generation namin ngayon. Lalo pag may COVID-19, gugustuhin mo pa bang lumabas ng bahay? Ay gugustuhin mo pa bang doon ka sa labas? Siyempre hindi ka na dito ka na lang sa bahay mag-work. Tassels on garments. Hindi, reaction ko lang yun, guys, ha. Kasi panahon natin ng COVID ngayon. So sarado yung mga simbahan. Tassel on garments. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them." Tsaka siyempre maraming tao eh. Hindi ka pwedeng makihalubilo sa maraming tao. Iwas sa COVID ba? Tassel on garments. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them throughout the generations." Ayun, sorry, excuse me, nakulong. Pati tiyan ko nagre-reklamo na. Ang upo kasi is nakataas yung paa. Ngayon, ayusin natin. Tassel on garments. The Lord said to Moses. Mahirap kaya magbasa, guys. Nakakangalay. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, throughout the generations to come, you are to make tassels on the corners of your garments. With a black cord on each tassel, you will have these tassels to look at, and so you will remember all the commands of the Lord, that you may obey them and not prostitute yourselves by going after the lust of your own hearts and eyes. Then you will remember to obey my commands and will be consecrated to your God. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt to be your head. I am the Lord your God." Apat na beses, oh. Sa verse 40. Apat na beses binanggit yung God. 2, 3, 4. Many leaders rebel against Moses: Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Korah, son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi. Bali ako na sa tuhod ni Levi. Si Levi, ano rin to eh, anak to ni Israel. And certain Reubenites, Dathan and Abiram, sons of Eliab, and on, pangalan itong On the guys ha, and On, son of Peleth, became insolent and rose up against Moses. With them were 250 Israelite men, well-known community leaders, who had been appointed members of the council. Naka po, kumbaga parang nag-alsa guys. Mga rebelde nag-rebel sa panahon ni Moses. They came as a group to oppose Moses and Aaron and said to them, "You have gone too far. The whole community is holy, every one of them, and the Lord is with them. Why then do you set yourselves above the Lord's assembly?" When Moses heard this, he fell face down. Then he said to Korah and all his followers, "In the morning the Lord will show who belongs to him." Bilis na. Nandito pa lang tayo sa chapter 15. Lapit na yung magtatrabaho na tayo. Okay, belongs to him. And who, sa verse 5 ng chapter 16. Then he said to Korah and all his followers, "In the morning the Lord will show you who belongs to him and who is holy, and he will have that person come near him. The man he chooses he will cause to come near him. You, Korah, and all your followers are to do this. Take censers, and tomorrow put fire and incense in them before the Lord. The man the Lord chooses will be the one who is holy. You Levites have gone too far." Moses also said to Korah, "Now listen, you Levites, isn't it enough for you that the God of Israel has separated you from the rest of the Israelite community and brought you near himself to do the work at the Lord's tabernacle and to stand before the community and minister to them? He has brought you and all your fellow Levites near himself." Oo nga guys. Yung Levites walang tribes pero mas malapit sila kay Father God. Kasi yung lupa nga ng mga to hindi pwede ibenta kasi sa kanila talaga yan. For himself, if but now you are trying to get the priesthood too. It is against the Lord that you and all your followers have banded together. Who is Aaron, and you should grumble against him? Then Moses summoned Dathan and Abiram, the son of Eliab, but they said, "We will not come. Isn't enough that you have brought up out of a land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the desert, and now you also want to lord it over us? Moreover, you haven't brought us into a land flowing with milk and honey, or given us an inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will you gouge out the eyes of these men? No, we will not come." Talaga matigas eh. No, we will not come. Then Moses became very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not accept their offering. I have not taken so much as a donkey from them, nor have I wronged any of them." Moses said to Korah, "You and all your followers are to offer before the Lord tomorrow, you and they and Aaron. Each man is to take his censer and put incense in it, 250 censers in all, and present it before the Lord. You and Aaron are to present your censers also." So each man took his put fire and incense in it, and stood with Moses and Aaron at the entrance to the tent of meeting. When Korah had gathered all his followers in opposition to them at the entrance to the tent of meeting, the glory of the Lord appeared to the entire assembly. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Separate yourselves from this assembly, so I can put an end to them at once. But Moses and Aaron fell face down and cried out, O God, God of the spirits of all mankind, will you be angry with the entire assembly when only one man sins? Oo nga naman. Ang hirap nga guys eh. Isa lang may kasalanan tapos lahat napaparusahan. Then the Lord said to Moses, Say to the assembly, move away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Moses got up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. He warned the assembly, Move back from the tents of these wicked men. Do not touch anything belonging to them, or you will be swept away because of all their sins. So they moved away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. Dathan and Abiram had come out and were standing with their wives, children, and little ones at the entrance of their tents. Naku po. Then Moses said, This is how you will know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things and that it was not my idea. If this man die a natural death and experience only what usually happens to men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord brings about something totally new and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them with everything that belongs to them and they go down alive into the grave, then you will know that these men have treated the Lord with contempt. As soon as finished saying all this, the ground under them split apart. Oh my God. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them. Parang earthquake lang guys. Na ma-open yung ground. Yung mga nabibiyak. Ito talaga bumuka yung ground. Tapos yun, nahulog. Swallow na sila. Excuse me. Kawawa naman. Pero nag-rebel lang sila. Ayun na. Kinain na sila ng lupa. Kawawa naman guys. Sabi na siya, ang bigat ng parusa ng araw, puro kamatayan. As soon as I finish saying all this, the ground under them, sa verse 31 guys. As soon as he finished saying all this, the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them. With their households, Allah, kasama yung mga households, and all Korah's men and all their possession. Naku po, damay-damay na. They went down alive into the grave with everything they owned. The earth closed over them, and they perished and were gone from the community. Kawawa naman. At their cries, all the Israelites around them fled, shouting, The earth is going to swallow us too. And fire came out from the Lord and consumed the 250 men who were offering the incense. Naku po. The Lord said to Moses, Tell Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, to take the censers out of the smoldering remains and scatter the coals out some distance away, for the censers are holy. The censer of the men who sinned at the cost of their lives hammered the censer into sheets to overlay the altar, for they were presented before the Lord and have become holy. Let them be a sign to the Israelites. So Eleazar the priest collected the bronze censers brought by those who had been burned up and had them hammered out overlay the altar. Kawawa naman guys. Talagang kamatayan ang katapat sa kanila, no? As the Lord directed him through Moses, this was to remind the Israelites that no one except a descendant of Aaron should come to burn incense before the Lord, or he would become like Korah and his followers. So, yung descendants lang ni Aaron guys ang pwedeng magpari talaga. Yung sila lang yung may karapatan. The next day, the whole Israelite Ayan guys, this was to remind the Israelites that no one except descendants of Aaron should come to burn incense before the Lord, or he would become like Korah and his followers. Ano nga natin to? Sa verse 40, nagawin natin description. Okay, sa verse 41. The next day, the whole Israelite community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. "You have killed the Lord's people," they said. But when the assembly gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron and turned toward the tent of meeting, suddenly the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. Then Moses and Aaron went to the front of the tent of meeting, and the Lord said to Moses, "Get away from this assembly so I can put an end to them at once." Naku po, and they fell face down. Then Moses said to Aaron, "Take your censer and put incense in it, along with fire from the altar, and hurry to the assembly to make atonement for them. Wrath has come out from the Lord, the plague has started." So Aaron did as Moses said and ran into the midst of the assembly. The plague had already started among the people, but Aaron offered the incense and made atonement for them. He stood between the living and the dead, and the plague stopped. Yes, ang galing. Pero mo, mag-ano ka lang ng incense. So, ito na lang kaya ang gagawin ng mga pari ngayong may COVID-19. Anahin nyo, sundin nyo to, yung, sa verse 46, ito na lang 46 ang gagawin natin. Description. Para masunod ng mga pari. Para wala ng COVID-19. Ayan sa verse 46. Then Moses said to Aaron, Take your censer and put incense in it, along with fire from the altar. So, gawin nyo to mga pari, please. And hurry to assembly to make atonement for them. Wrath has come out from the Lord, the plague has started. So Aaron did as Moses said and ran into the midst of the assembly. Please mga pare, gawin nyo yan. The plague had already started among the people, but Aaron offered the incense and made atonement for them. He stood between the living and the dead, and the plague stopped. Yun, nag-stop na yung plague. But 14,700 people died from the plague. Ang dami. In addition to those who had died because of Korah. Then Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance of the meeting, for the plague had stopped. Oh, please mga pare, gawin niyo yan. Mag-ano lang kayo, yung maglagay lang ng incense doon sa censer. Tapos, along with fire from the altar, and hurry to the atonement. Make an atonement, guys. So, ang ano natin ngayon sa COVID-19 nasa mga pare. Nasa sensor lang ng mga pare para mag-stop yung plug. Aywan ko yung di ba meron na ngayong vaccinations. Kahit hindi na vaccination, so ito lang magawa lang ng atonement yung mga pare, gagaling na. How I wish and pray mawaalis na yung COVID-19. Yun lang pangarap natin, guys. Grabe ng tagal. Okay, dito na tayo sa Mark. Bilisan na. The people of Nazareth refused to believe. Pati tiyan ko. The people of Nazareth refused to believe. Jesus lived there and went to his hometown. Ito yung sa na to. Yung Nazareth is hometown na to ni Jesus. Ito yung sabi dati na lack of faith. Sila? Kung alin pa yung hometown ni Jesus, doon pa siya hindi makagawa ng miracle signs. Kasi nga, kulang sa pananampalataya. So, ang miracle natin is nasa faith natin, guys. Jesus lived there and went to his hometown accompanied by his disciples. Di ba nabasa natin sa Matthew yan? When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue. Ito, bawal to sa panahon ni Moses. Wala ka dapat trabaho sa oras ng Sabbath day. Di ba naalala niya yung kumuha lang ng wood is binato na hanggang sa mamatay. He began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. Where did this man get these things? They asked. Kasi sa panahon ni Moses, pagka-Sabbath, holy yun. Pero ito, nagtiteach naman siya eh. Kaya, holy pa rin. Diba? And many who heard him were amazed. Where did this man get these things? They asked. What there's wisdom that has been given him, and he even does miracles. Isn't this the carpenter? Ito yan, guys. Anak na. Isn't this the carpenter? Isn't this Mary's son? And the brother of James, Joseph, Judas? Ito yung tinatanong ko sa inyo, guys. Sa mga expert pala. Sino po ba tong Judas na to? Ito po ba yung nag-betrayed sa kanya? Diba? Judas. Kapatid pala niya. Isn't this Mary's son and the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? Aren't his sister her with us? So may kapatid rin pala siya babae. And they took offense at him. Jesus said to them, only in his hometown among his relatives and in his own house is a prophet without honor. He could not do any miracles there except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them, and he was amazed to their lack of faith. Yung kulang sa pananampalataya. So, kailangan yung faith mo, guys, yun ang makakapagpagaling sa'yo kung may sakit ka. Just have faith and believe. Nagagaling ka. Sabi nga, ano ba yun? Yung kwentong nasa isip lang. Nasa isip mo lang yan. Huna-huna mo lang yan. Jesus sends the 12 disciples. Hindi, guys, nasa pananampalataya talaga yan. If you believe. Sabi nga ni Jesus, you can move mountain through to the sea. Diba? Nabasa din natin yung sinabi ni Jesus. Jesus sends out the 12 disciples. Then Jesus went out around teaching from village to village, calling the 12 to him. He sent them out 2 by 2 and gave them authority over evil spirits. These were his instructions. Take nothing for the journey except stuff, no bread, no bag, no money in your bowls. So, bawal tumanggap ng pera. Wear sandals but not an extra tunic. Whenever you enter a house, stay there until you leave the town. And if any place will not welcome you or listen to you, shake the dust off your feet. When you live as a testimony against them, they went out and preached that people should repent. They drove out many demons and anointed many sick people with oil and healed them. Okay, pati mga disciples niya nakakagaling. Kasi nga, nasa pananampalataya yan. Herod kills John the Baptist. King Herod heard about this, for Jesus' name had become well known. Some were saying, John the Baptist has been raised from the dead, and that is why miraculous powers are at work on him. So, di ba nga pinugutan ng ulo si John the Baptist? So, sila King Herod, sino ba ang kanila King Herod nung araw? Excuse me. Okay. King Herod kills John the Baptist. King Herod heard about this, for Jesus' name had become well known. Some were saying John the Baptist had been raised from the dead, and that is why miraculous powers are at work in him. Others said he is Elijah, and still others claim he is a prophet, like one of the prophets of long ago. But when Herod heard this, he said, John the man, wait lang. Hindi ko na makita. John the man I beheaded has been raised from the dead. Yung pinugutan nila ng ulo. Di ba pinugutan ng ulo si John the Baptist tapos nilagay sa plate? For Herod himself had given orders. Ang tanong ko guys, sino kaya ang god ng mga nilaking Herod noong araw na? For Herod himself had given orders to have John arrested, and he had him bound and put in prison. He did this because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, who he had married. For John had been saying to Herod, nakalagay sa verse 17 guys, for Herod himself had given orders to have John arrested, and he had him bound and put in prison. He did this because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, whom he had married. For John, di ko magets yung hindi ko magets yung Herodias. He did this because of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife ni Philip, whom he had married. So, di ko magets pagdating sa whom he had married. Ano yun? Asawa niya yung asawa ni Philip? Ganon? Di ko magets. Hindi ko magets guys. Kaya na mag-intindi sa verse 17. For John had been saying, yung relasyon ba nila kung ano? For John had been saying to Herod, it is not lawful to you to have your brother's, yun nga. It is not lawful to you to have your brother's wife. Kaya pala siya pinugutan kasi yun ang sinabi ni John the Baptist. Kasi nga naman, asawa ng brother mo yan. Ba't mo asawahin? So, Herodias nursed a grudge. Pero, yun nga, pinugutan si dahil doon. For John had, lang natin yun ha, kasi hindi ko mag-gets yun. Inintindi ko, ito may sagot na. Yun nga kaya siya pinugutan dahil doon sa sinabi niya. So, Herodias nursed a grudge against John and wanted to kill him. But she was not able to because Herod feared John and protected him, knowing him to be a righteous and holy man. When Herod heard John, he was, greatly puzzled, yet he liked to listen to him. Finally, the opportune time came. On his birthday, Herod gave a banquet for his high officials and military commanders and the leading men of Galilee. Nabasa na natin to guys eh. When the daughter of Herodias came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his dinner guest. The king said to the girl, ask me for anything. The king said to the girl, ask me for anything you want and I'll give it to you. And he promised her with an oath, whatever you ask, I will give you up to half my kingdom. Ang galing. Up to half of my kingdom. She went out and said to her mother, what shall I ask for? The head of John the Baptist, she answered. Nako, inutosan ng nanay. At once the girl hurried it into the king with a request, I want you to give me right now the head of John the Baptist on a platter. The king was greatly distressed, but because of his oaths and his tender guest, he did not want to refuse her, so he immediately sent an executioner. Ang hirap bigkasin. With orders to bring John's head. The man went beheaded John in the prison and brought back his head on a platter. He presented it to the girl and she gave it to her mother. On hearing of this, John's disciples came and took his body and laid it in a tomb. E nasaan na yung ulo ni John the Baptist? Hindi na kinuha. Katawan lang kinuha guys eh. Okay. Bye everyone. God bless.